So I just got done reading the book of Jonah. The book of Jonah is only 4 chapters in the Bible, but there are powerful 4 chapters in the Bible. It's about a prophet who serves God, who was told to go to a people that he didn't necessarily agree with and to give them the gospel, and he ran from it. He wanted nothing to do with it, and instead of serving God in this instance, he ran. And God still showed him mercy and grace in that. There's some things that foreshadow Jesus, which is pretty awesome. There's a situation where Jonah was asleep in the ship. There was a great tempest. The crew was freaked out. They were afraid they were all going to perish in the storm. They woke up Jonah and said, "Help, pray to your God. Maybe he'll save us." Jonah willingly gave his life for that crew. He knew he was the reason that it came upon them, and he knew he had to make it right, so he willingly gave his life to save the crew, which is what Jesus did for us. He willingly went to the cross on our behalf to save each and every one of us. Another thing was he was in the belly of the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. Jesus actually referenced that when he was talking to the Pharisees, and he said, "This generation seeks a sign, but the only sign that they're going to get is the sign of Jonah, being in the belly of the fish for 3 days and 3 nights, just like he was in the belly of the earth for 3 days and 3 nights before he rose again. But one thing that I really thought that was cool about Jonah was here in verse 4 it says, "And Jonah began to enter the city on their first day's walk. Then he cried out and said, 'Yet 40 days, and Nineveh shall be overthrown.'" Now the Ninevites, they were a wicked people. They did some wicked, terrible things to people. They were ruthless. They were unashamedly just brutal with stuff, and everybody knew it. And that was part of the reason Jonah wanted no part of them. But it says that when Jonah went to them, that's all he said. "Yet 40 days, and Nineveh shall be overthrown." And then the next verse says, "So the people of Nineveh believed God, proclaimed a fast, put on sackcloth from the greatest to the least of them." That's all Jonah had to say. 40 days, and Nineveh will be destroyed. They didn't argue with him. They didn't sit there and say, "Well, we're not that bad." They didn't make excuses for their sin. They knew they were caught. They knew they were caught. They knew that God was speaking to them, and I even believe that God was probably already working on their hearts before Jonah even got to them. And that's how God works in my life. I know that when I sin, when I got things going on in my life, God will work on me and start working in my own heart and talking to me about it. And if I'm just not getting it, he might send somebody from church to kind of confirm it. He might send just some other person to come confirm what he's already been speaking to me about. And I believe that's what happened here with the Ninevites and Jonah. So I never really looked at it that way, that they didn't fight. They knew they were caught. They knew that it was over for them. And they accepted it, they surrendered to it, and they repented of it. And I thought that was really cool, and I never really saw it that way before.